Hey everyone. Depending on what time it is there, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome back to Warren's Everyday English. I hope you've been well. Today, we're going to continue Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I'm going to first go over the background of the situation and then go into detail on what happened afterwards and the expressions used. So, let's dive right into the story. At school, the author Greg got assigned to reading groups. He wanted to get put in the easy group, so when they did the screening, he did his best to get put in the easy group by acting stupid. Fred picked up the book. Ooh, thanks. Mom is real tight with our principal, so I'll bet she stepped in and made sure I got put in the gifted group again. So here, tight with is an expression meaning that you are very close with someone. You may also say very close with as a little bit more formal expression. Stepped in is a common expression meaning to become involved in a difficult situation, typically to help out. So for example, if your friends are arguing about something, you may step in to calm the situation down by telling both friends to calm down and listen to their side of the story to offer a solution. So here in the paragraph, Greg is saying that his mom is real close with the principal, so he guesses that she intervened to make sure that Greg got put in the gifted group again. In schools, gifted classes are typically for students who excel academically. Mom is always saying I'm a smart kid, but that I just don't apply myself. Applying oneself means working harder to complete something or be successful. We use this expression a lot when we see an individual who has potential to be successful or to succeed, but a lot of times they are not successful or don't succeed because they may be lazy or don't have the motivation to succeed. Sometimes you may say that the person has no motivation or they have no drive. So here, Greg's mom is saying that he's a smart kid, but that he has no motivation or drive. Mothers usually say this to their kids because in a mother's eye, their child is always the smartest. But if there's one thing I learned from Roderick, it's to set people's expectations real low so you end up surprising them by practically doing nothing at all. So expectations are what you are expecting, whether it's good or bad. You may have expectations for certain things. So for example, if there is a very good or a very high-rated restaurant, your expectations are that the food will be good. On the flip side, if the reviews of the restaurant are poor, then your expectations are that the food will not be good. When you set an expectation for someone, you are creating a certain level that must be met. So for example, I have a friend Bob who's always late when we hang out. He shows up 30 minutes to 1 hour after the agreed time to meet. He is always late and has never shown up on time, so I have set low expectations for him. If you end up doing something, you do that thing or get into that state even though you did not originally plan or intend to. So for instance, since we had nothing to make for dinner, we ended up ordering pizza. After end up, you use verb plus ing form a lot, like the following examples. We were going to go out to eat, but we ended up staying in. He was going to buy a new bike, but he ended up fixing his old one. I wanted to read for an hour, but I ended up falling asleep after 10 minutes.
So you end up getting a very clear, very, very clean way of thinking.
We end up coping through our whole lives.
So in this paragraph from the book, Greg is saying that one thing he learned from his brother is to have people create a low expectation of yourself so that when you end up doing the bare minimum, you will surprise people. Roderick, I want your dirty underwear off the kitchen table before I get home from work.
Wow.
So in this next scenario from the book, on Saturday, after Greg woke up, he headed up to his friend Rowley's house, and Greg is talking about how they became friends. Rowley is technically my best friend, but that is definitely subject to change. Subject to change is a widely used phrase meaning that things can change at any given moment. So a lot of times when you look at advertisements, it may say things like prices are subject to change or promotion is subject to change. So these mean that the prices or promotion can change at any time. So here, Greg is basically saying that Rowley is still his best friend, but that can change at any time. And just a little background to this, this is because Rowley said,
"Wanna come over to my house and play?"
in front of other kids at school. Since they are middle school students, Greg says they're supposed to say hang out, not play. So it's these type of things that Rowley does that embarrasses Greg. In the book, it's mentioned that when Rowley moved into Greg's neighborhood, he came to Greg's house trying some dumb gimmicks like knock-knock jokes from the book called How to Make Friends in New Places. Gimmicks are typically tricks that are done to attract attention. In the book, Rowley plays a trick on Greg by using a knock-knock joke, as outlined in the following image.
"Knock, knock. Huh? Thermos? Excuse me? There must be some way to tickle your funny bone." "Say what?"
I guess I kind of felt sorry for Rowley, and I decided to take him under my wing. The expression feel sorry for means to feel sympathetic towards someone because of an unfortunate situation. For example, you may say, I feel sorry for John. He just bought a house a few days ago, but his company laid him off this morning. In many situations, feel sorry and feel bad can be used interchangeably to express sympathy or regret. However, there are subtle differences between the two expressions. Feel sorry is generally used to express sympathy or compassion for someone else's situation or suffering. For example, I feel sorry for the families affected by the natural disaster. In addition to expressing sympathy or compassion, feel bad can also be used to express regret or unhappiness about something that you have done or that has happened. For example, I feel bad that I couldn't attend the party. You wouldn't say, right, I feel sorry for not attending the party, as this sounds awkward. In some situations, both expressions can be used interchangeably. For example, I feel sorry for Jane. I feel bad for Jane. She just lost her job. So while they can be used interchangeably, it's always a good idea to consider the specific context and situation to determine which expression is more appropriate to use. To take someone under your wing is an expression meaning to teach, take care of, or mentor someone. So you may say, for instance, Jane was new to the company and making a lot of mistakes. I decided to take her under my wing and teach her about the company's processes and business. So in this paragraph, Greg is saying that he felt sympathetic towards Rowley because the way Rowley was behaving was uncool, so he decided to take him under his wing and teach him how to be cool. It's been great having him around, mostly because I get to use all the tricks Roderick pulls on me. Pull something on someone is an expression meaning to play a trick on someone or to deceive someone. So here, Greg is saying that he enjoys having Rowley around because the same tricks that Roderick played on him, he can now play on Rowley. So Greg is insinuating that his brother Roderick pulls tricks on Greg all the time. You know how I said I play all sorts of prank on Rowley? Well, I have a little brother named Manny, and I could never get away with pulling any of that stuff on him. Get away is a common expression meaning to escape punishment or blame when you did something wrong. So for instance, Jane always gets away with coming in late to the office every morning. Since Jane's boss Bob works in another country, he never knows when she comes into the office. So here, Greg is saying that he plays all sorts of tricks on Rowley, because if he were to play the same tricks on his younger brother Manny, he could never escape punishment. Mom and Dad protect Manny like he's a prince or something, and he never gets in trouble, even if he really deserves it. Gets in trouble is an expression that because of something you did, you get punished or reprimanded. Bob got in trouble today at school for cursing at the teacher. We use even if when we're talking about an unreal situation. We use it when we're speculating or when we don't consider something as a fact. I'm going out tomorrow even if it's raining. In this situation, I don't know if it's going to rain tomorrow or not, but I'm still going out. Even though is similar to even if, but is used when we're talking about a real situation. We use it to express a fact or when we think something is true. I'm going out right now, even though it's raining. In this case, I know it's raining and I don't care. I'm going out anyway.
Even if people call them crazy, then that's okay.
On how to survive the holidays, even if you don't like your family.
Even though the media has said that it's going to end world poverty, And even though I know they're short-staffed right now, I really hope that the priority right now is engineering.
So here in this paragraph, Greg is saying that his mom and dad protects Manny like he's a prince, and he never gets punished or reprimanded even though he deserves it. Yesterday, Manny drew a self-portrait on my bedroom door in permanent marker. I thought mom and dad were really going to let him have it, but as usual, I was wrong. To let someone have it means to yell at or get angry at the person. So as an example, we made a huge mess in the kitchen and didn't clean it up. When mom came home at night, she saw the mess and really let us have it. We got yelled at a lot. But the thing that bugs me the most about Manny is the nickname he has for me. So when Manny was a baby, he couldn't pronounce brother, so he started calling Greg Bubby, and he still calls him that now. When something bugs you, it means that it annoys you or bothers you. John is a real nice guy, but the way he chooses food bugs me. He chews his food with his mouth open. Luckily, none of my friends have found out yet, but believe me, I have had some really close calls. Close calls is an expression used when you want to express a situation that something bad or unfortunate almost happened but was avoided. As an example, we were walking down the street and had a close call with a motorcycle. We were crossing the crosswalk and a motorcycle just flew through that crosswalk, almost hitting Jane. Or Bob snuck out of his house at night to hang out with his friends. He had a close call and almost got caught by his dad. But luckily, Bob got into his room just right before his dad woke up. So in this passage from the book, Greg is saying that the thing that annoys him the most about Manny is the nicknames he has for Greg. But Greg is lucky in that none of his friends have found out yet, but he's almost got caught a few times. Another quick background on the next passage from the book. Mom makes Greg help Manny get ready for school in the morning, such as making him breakfast, cleaning up after Manny eats. And a lot of times, Manny dumps whatever he didn't eat right in his potty, which is his toilet. Mom is getting on me about not finishing my breakfast, but if she had to scrape cornflakes out of the bottom of a plastic potty every morning, she wouldn't have much of an appetite either. Getting on someone is an expression used when you want to express that someone is giving you a hard time. For example, I just graduated college last week, but my mom is already getting on me about not looking for a job. So here's a few more examples. My boss keeps getting on me about small things. My dad keeps getting on me about not mowing the lawn. When my mom is stressed, she gets on everyone. Don't have much of an appetite essentially means you are not really hungry or don't really feel like eating. This could be because you are sick or maybe the food you are eating isn't good. You might say, I don't have much of an appetite, or I don't have an appetite. So here, Greg's mom is giving him a hard time about not finishing his breakfast. But Greg is saying that if his mom had to clean cornflakes, which is an American cereal, out of a plastic bowl every morning like he does, she also wouldn't feel like eating cornflakes either. So that about wraps up today's lesson, and I hope you've learned a lot of common everyday expressions that are used frequently. As always, please practice using these expressions and make them your own so you too can understand and use them in your everyday life. I'll see you all in the next video. Until then, take care.